guys, welcome back for the afternoon session of day 4 of the Amber Alert murder trial. They are back in the courtroom early. They were going to do something with the lawyers at 12:30, but we can't hear it. I don't exactly know what they're doing. We have the seal. Oh. Is that the defendant? Hang on, y'all. The defendant was just in the witness stand. I thought I saw him in the witness stand.
Circumstances, I appreciate the state's
Maybe it was just asking him if he was going to testify. Or I'm seeing things. Either one. I don't know.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you. Please be seated.
Your Honor, the defense calls Dustin Duren.
Are they back in court or this is
Remain standing. Please
a
raise your right
JP?
hand. Do you swear that the testimony you give today will be the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can go ahead and sit down. Please state your full name and spell it for the record.
Dustin, D-U-S-T-I-N, Duren, D-U-R-E-N.
Dustin, I wanted to start by asking.
Sorry, guys.
Are you a father?
Yes, two of my life, 2 daughters,
What are your 2 daughters' names?
Elowen and Valen.
How old are they?
They are currently 5 and 2.
Are you a veteran?
Yes, I am.
What branch did you serve in?
The Marine Corps.
When did you enlist?
So I enlisted right out of high school. So a week after I graduated high school at 18, I left for boot camp.
Where did you go to boot camp?
So this was in Camp Pendleton, California.
Did you do infantry training?
Yes.
Where did you go to infantry training?
So that was at the same place, Camp Pendleton, California.
In the Marines, did you receive training with firearms?
Extensive training, yes, to where you're expected to assemble, disassemble, load, fire with the highest of proficiency, and they drill it over and over and over to where they want it ingrained in you, to where it's instilled in you. It becomes instinctual.
What's instilled in you?
The use of your weapon, whether it's rifle, pistol.
Were you taught about firearm safety?
Yes. The Marine Corps specifically has 4 rules.
And what are they?
And this is something that I teach even just outside the Marine Corps, but these are rules that I think really everyone should follow. This isn't just a Marine Corps thing, but number 1, treat every weapon as if it were loaded. 2, never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. 3, keep your fingers straight and off the trigger until you're ready to fire. And 4, keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire.
And you've talked a little bit about it, but can you tell me, as a Marine, what familiarity with firearms were you expected to have?
Absolute familiarity. I mean, you spend a lot of time with it. You're expected to be combat ready, and that's something else with the Marine Corps, specifically to the Marine Corps of every Marine is a rifleman.
What does every Marine is a rifleman mean?
So, like I said, this is something specific to the Marine Corps. So it doesn't matter what your job is. So you could be a cook, but before you even go through your job training, you're expected to go through infantry training.
And what is the point of going through infantry training regardless of specialty?
So that everyone is combat ready, is trained with the rifle, trained to be a warfighter first.
And is that different than other branches of the armed service?
Yes, yeah.
In boot camp, did you receive any recognition for your proficiency with firearms?
So right away in boot camp, I was graduated as the battalion high shooter.
What does that mean?
So in our marksmanship course, I was the highest shooter out of our entire graduating class.
Does that mean you were the most proficient with a rifle of everyone
Yes,
you went
yes.
to boot camp with? Did you do any other type of combat training in boot camp or in infantry training?
So specifically in infantry training, you train with all sorts of different weapons. So we were training with like the M240 Golf, heavy machine gun, Mark 19, automatic grenade launcher, but and then two, we in hand-to-hand combat, we have or close quarters combat, we have a program called McMap.
What is McMap?
And that is the Marine Corps martial arts program. And it's different from most other martial arts in that specifically other martial arts, you're learned to incapacitate, or get away. And with McMap, you're specifically trained to kill, really by any means. But this is in the use with just your hands or with pistols, with close quarters with a rifle, just everything close quarters related.
And let me just make sure I understood that right. The Marine Corps martial arts program, you're learning martial arts combining unarmed combat and weapons-based training?
Yes.
Let's jump from training to deployment. Where were you first deployed?
So I was first deployed to Japan, Okinawa, Japan.
Did you do any firearms training or qualifications in Japan?
Yes. So every year, again, regardless of what your job is, you're expected to go through an annual marksmanship training and qualification. So right away, once I got to Japan, then I did the annual qualification. But then again, I was squadron high shooter, and they tagged me and asked me if I wanted to become a coach.
Why were you asked to become a coach?
Again, really, it's I was just kind of tagged, like people noticed with me being the squadron high shooter.
So because of your proficiency with
Yeah,
firearms?
yes.
What did you have to do to become a coach?
So there's the combat marksmanship coach course. You go really beyond what you would normally go through, or the training or the qualification. You do much more, whether it's like just regular target practice, or you could be doing moving targets, yourself moving, but a lot more in detail. And then you're also taught specifically how to teach others.
How did you do in the coach's course?
So again, in the coach's course, I was again the highest shooter, and beating out, there's mainly a lot of other infantry Marines, but there's also, specifically there's two Force Recon Marines there, which Force Recon, that's basically like Navy SEALs or Army Rangers of the Marine Corps.
So you outshot the Marine version of the Navy SEALs in the coaches training course?
Yes.
After you took the coaches course, did you serve as a marksmanship coach?
Yes, I did.
How did you serve as a coach?
Again, then at that point, I was a combat marksmanship coach. It was just called like a B billet, but it was secondary to my normal job. But I would then train other Marines in this annual qualification or whatever Marines need to qualify, and ended up teaching hundreds of Marines.
And what did you teach hundreds of Marines to do?
To perfect their shooting, their proficiency with a rifle or a pistol.
During your time in the military, can you estimate how often you discharged a weapon or how many times?
Thousands, probably tens of thousands.
And what did discharging a firearm tens of thousands of times do?
And it gets instilled in you to where like, I guess you could say you could do it in your sleep. It's just so ingrained in you that they really want you to do it basically without conscious thought. Like it just, it's so drilled in you over and over.
What were you trained to use a firearm for?
To eliminate threats.
Besides Japan, where else were you deployed?
So I was deployed all over the Pacific, so Philippines, Thailand, Korea, and then also to Kuwait and Iraq.
When were you deployed to Iraq?
So this would have been 2008.
Where in Iraq were you stationed?
There's a Marine base called Al-Assad.
Did you experience any violence or danger in Iraq?
So at the time, 2008, the big things then were IEDs, or improvised explosive devices, and mortar attacks. And then I did take small arms fire from my helicopter, small arms being like rifles, AK-47. And then specifically for my job as an aircraft recovery specialist, we dealt with plane crashes or like emergency landings, which happened when I was there.
You said you took small arms fire from a helicopter. Does that mean you were shot at while you were in a helicopter?
Yes.
Did anything else traumatic happen while you were in Iraq?
Yes. So I was back at sort of our home area. So when you're in Iraq, you're basically just working 24/7.
I wonder where everybody went, man. People love it when the defendant gets on the stand. Yay, Marty's here. I swear. I've been working on my nails all day and I cannot get them right. I give up. It's not supposed to take all day. It usually takes 2 hours.
If there's a pending question, it is withdrawn, subject to being rephrased.
Do you have PTSD?
I do.
Is your PTSD service connected?
I'm not
It
looking
is.
for you, Spike.
How does your PTSD affect you?
They do. You're right, Marnie. They do.
It's severe depression, specifically bouts of severe depression.
Who doesn't?
Which affects really just everyday life, but to include just everything, even from like maintaining jobs, stuff like that.
And when did you start experiencing symptoms of your PTSD?
So this is his defense, PTSD? Lame.
Real symptoms, probably once I got out of the Marine Corps. I guess, well, actually, probably not. I guess I'll rephrase that. Immediately afterwards, I'm questioning what I can say, but
The question in front of you, just I think ask it as narrowly, answer as narrowly
Okay.
as you can, is when did you first start experiencing symptoms from your PTSD?
okay, with that direct question, immediately afterwards.
Immediately after you were discharged from the Marine Corps?
Well, no, immediately after the event itself.
Immediately after the event itself?
Yes.
And what year was that?
2008.
That was while you were in Iraq?
Yes.
When did you get a diagnosis of PTSD?
Officially, this would have been 2021 or 22.
So after almost 15 years of experiencing symptoms?
Yes, yes.
When were you discharged from the Marines?
So this would have been 2011. I was honorably discharged in 2011.
You were honorably discharged at what rank?
As a sergeant.
After leaving the Marines, where did you move?
I moved to Los Angeles, California, that's where I got my degree in audio engineering, and then I was almost immediately hired at Fox Sports as a post-production audio engineer.
I'm
Were you
confused.
experiencing symptoms of PTSD or depression while you lived in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Where did you live after LA?
So afterwards, which this was just part of my sort of severe depression, but I ended up moving to Las Vegas, Nevada, and that made sense just for my work and also working as an event technician, so working at for like corporate events and music events in Vegas.
How was your mental health when you first moved to Vegas?
It was
Objection. Relevance.
Approach.
He said he was diagnosed in 21, 22, but it was the PTSD started right after the event, and the event was when he was in the service, but he was discharged from the service in 2011. So he went how long without being diagnosed? 10 years? Or did I misunderstand that? Yeah, I'm sure. I have PTSD from two things, but I don't blame it for stuff I do. I have it from the cancer, and I have it from getting bit by Spike. Like I said the other day. Yeah. Like I said the other day, we were in Walmart and I heard a dog barking and I just took off. And Travis was like, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" Because I hear like a fighting dog and I go as far away as I can. I even do it if Spike starts fighting with Belle. I'm other side of the house because it's just automatic response because I've got bit. And so I get out of the way. That's my PTSD response to a barking dog. I don't blame PTSD in one area of my life on everything else I do. It doesn't make sense. So I hate it when people use that response. You use that excuse for it's an excuse. It's not a reason. Now, if you were to have like a psychotic break because of PTSD, that's totally different. But that was not a psychotic break. That was, I want you out of my life and I want my kids. Bang, bang. That's what he did was.
Overruled.
Dustin, how was your mental health when you first moved to Vegas?
It was extremely bad. So that was part of why my move happened, but it only got worse as I was there. And along with another traumatic event, that's when
Why?
I had a suicide attempt.
Were you hospitalized after your suicide attempt?
Yes.
Where did you go after was it a psychiatric hospitalization?
Yes.
Where did you go after your psychiatric hospitalization?
So this was a little bit afterwards. My parents were trying to convince me to live with them, to come back to Minnesota and basically just try to take care of myself, take care of my health, and just be with family for a while. So it took a few months afterwards, but eventually I agreed and moved back to Minnesota, and this would have been November, December of 2018.
You moved back to Minnesota in November or December 2018?
Yes.
When did you meet Caitlyn?
So this was shortly afterwards, maybe about this, well, yeah, it would have been like 3 months later, February of 2019.
Where did you meet?
So it was at a bar, and I remember it specifically because the Super Bowl was on.
Did you two start dating?
Yes, probably about a week or two later.
When did Caitlyn get pregnant?
Almost immediately. So I think I found out it's probably April of 2019.
How did you feel when you found out that Caitlyn was pregnant?
There was a mix of emotions. So this was not planned. This was unexpected. So I was kind of anxious about it, but at the same time, I got pretty excited about just having a family, starting a family.
Had you always planned on having a family?
I did. Came a little early, but yes.
And was Caitlyn pregnant with your daughter, Elwyn?
Yes.
Did you and Caitlyn move in together once you found out she was pregnant?
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact time, but it probably was around that time, April 2019, in which she moved in with me at my parents' house.
How were you involved during the pregnancy?
I tried to be involved as much as possible. I was going to all the doctor's appointments, just trying to take care of Caitlyn as much as I could. Just like her being happy makes the baby happy. So just, trying to take care of her as much as I could as well.
How was your mental health immediately before Caitlyn got pregnant?
Before it was still pretty bad. I was seeing a psychologist. Not great.
Can you tell me what you mean by not great?
I'm sure.
I was still dealing with some pretty bad depression, and just my life just kind of feeling meaningless or just really without purpose.
How was your mental health during Caitlyn's pregnancy?
So it improved pretty quickly with just being so excited about starting a family.
Did it make you feel like you had a purpose?
It was starting to, yes.
Tell us about the day that Elwyn was born.
So it was December 2nd. So right away in the morning, Caitlyn woke me up and told me her water broke, and we went to the hospital. The labor was long. It was about 13 hours. But once Elwyn was born, she was placed on Caitlyn's chest, but immediately she was turning purple and wasn't breathing. So immediately I'm yelling at the nurses like, "Hey, something's seriously wrong here."
I was going to ask if you
grab
could
her,
eat
they
them.
take her to the side. They end up restarting, like she was started to breathe again. But then they ended up taking her to the NICU, to where she ended up spending a week there. Everything was fine, but they were just doing that as a precaution.
Where were you and Caitlyn while Ellen was in the NICU?
So for the most part, we were with her. So we didn't really want to, obviously we wanted to be with her all the time. And then we would sometimes try to get back to the house just to like shower or
She
whatever,
was
try to get some
fine, but they
sleep.
kept her in the NICU for a week. No, she
yeah, for
wasn't
the most
fine
part,
if she was in the NICU for a week.
Tell us what it felt like the first time that you held Ellen.
It was beautiful. This was, hey, I have my first child. It was amazing.
Oh,
When Ellen
wow.
was discharged from the hospital, where did the three of you go?
We
Yeah, anything. You can get PTSD from anything. If you have a
my
bad
parents
experience with it,
at their house.
And this was in
it can
Minnesota?
become
Yes.
something that you have trauma with
How
for the
did it
rest of your
feel to
life.
take Ellen home from the hospital?
Overall,
How did it feel to take Ellen home from the hospital?
And
Again,
in
amazing.
varying degrees, too.
Again, it was, I just felt so happy just having this family, just being together as this family.
Did you spend a lot of time with Ellen when she was an infant?
All the time, as much as I could. Always being by her side. I mean, whatever, just, I don't know, bassinets, is that what they're called? Whatever, her, wherever she was sleeping, wherever she was, I always wanted to be near her, just always being with her. She actually had this little, it was like a little unicorn handkerchief or blanket, I guess. But she always had it since she was born, and she would make these noises like goy goy when she had it, and that we ended up calling it goy goy, and she still has it today, and that's still what we call it, her goy goy.
What did you like to do with Ellen when she was an infant?
Well, I definitely like to show her off a lot. Just going to see different family, friends. Yeah.
When she was an infant, were you worried about Ellen's safety?
Of course. I was always watching her, always protecting her, to where just even if she's on the bed, like is something over her, like is she gonna roll over, or would she roll off the bed, or like if she's laying on the couch for some reason, is she gonna roll off the couch? I was just always watching her.
How long after Ellen was born did
Hey,
you get...
Kratos and Mikey.
So this was about 6 months. So it would have been June, yeah, I think like June of 2020. And at this point, so I had talked about how I was only ever in Minnesota temporarily, and my plan was always to go back to Nevada eventually. And then, so obviously I got disrupted a little bit with Ellen being born, but and then actually 2020 as well, that was during COVID. And so my work wasn't really available. Events were not really happening in Vegas. And so I was trying to find work, and it just worked out that I happened to find a job at the United States Postal Service as a mail carrier. So
let me just make sure this is clear. So you said you left Minnesota in June of 2020. Is that when
yes,
you moved to Vegas?
yes, that's when I moved to Vegas.
And you moved there because of a job with USPS?
Yes,
Did Caitlyn and Ellen also move to Vegas?
yes.
Were you looking for USPS for a long time?
Working for them, no. So once we moved there, I this had a lot to do with how much a mail carrier, specifically in Vegas, was working at the time during the pandemic. To where there was a lot of work, learning or working long hours, like easily over like 12 hours, probably 6 days a week. And my depression started coming back. I think a lot of it had to do with just me not being around around October, November 2020.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about your first Christmas in Vegas. Was Caitlyn there?
No,
Where had Caitlyn gone?
she flew back to Minnesota.
Did she take Ellen with her?
No,
Who was in Vegas with you?
so it was just me and Ellen.
How was your and Ellen's first Christmas in Vegas?
So this was, again, to where my depression was coming back, and really that first morning, all I had was just this little Christmas tree is probably about a foot tall, and then just a couple presents. And I was really starting to feel just sort of worthless again, like almost like I didn't deserve her. I couldn't provide for her, didn't deserve her. And but
Do you mean Ellen? You were starting to feel like you
Ellen,
deserved
yes. And
Dude, you quit
she
your
was
job.
so happy, and her just how happy she was, that became really just the most pivotal moment in my life. With everything I'd done, everything just paled in comparison to that moment of just, she became my everything, my life. And from that moment on, she was my purpose, my meaning in life.
Tell us about what Ellen was like as a toddler.
Always happy, always running around, always learning. I tried to be good with always teaching her stuff. I remember sending it was a video to my mom, but she had flashcards to where they just had letters on them, like A, B, C, D, and then a picture of an animal on it. And I remember showing her or recording this and just showing Ellen these pictures or these flashcards, and her just rattling them off, getting them one by one, every single one of them correct, and just how amazingly smart she was, just even at such a young age.
I'm ready for cooler weather
How do you feel
anyway.
about being a father?
Again, it was amazing that it felt like that was my entire life, was being a father.
Were there any times when Ellen was a toddler where you were concerned about her safety?
There was a specific situation to where Caitlyn was babysitting another kid. He was a little bit older, so Ellen would have been 2 or 3 at the time, and this other.
Objection, Your Honor.
Approach.
Yeah, he'll be happy though, because the building that he works in is not air conditioned or heated. So he gets really cold in the winter and really hot in the summer. So he'll be glad for some middle of the road weather. I say building, it's a building, kind of. It's a feed store. So it has like bay doors instead of like regular doors. and they stay open. Well, I guess it has a regular door in the back. The front door is a bay door where they can pull up the truck to unload pallets of like feed and seeds and fertilizer and whatever, hay, whatever else they sell. Farm stuff. It feels cooler in here today. I mean, the AC's on in the other room. I can hear it running, but I'm closer to the sliding glass door back here, and it's cooler in here today than it's been being. So it's probably cooler outside. It was cool when I went out earlier. Took Spike out, and he was just standing there staring. So I came back in, and then he started barking to come back in. I was like, you did not do anything. So he probably pooped in the house again. I don't know why he's afraid of the yard. Travis's lawnmower broke back at the beginning of summer, and he kept trying to fix it. He kept buying parts and trying to fix it, and he couldn't get it fixed. So then he had to save up a little bit more money than what we had to buy a new one. So the grass got tall,
Is it fair to say
and
that you
something
continue to
spooked
be
him while the grass was tall.
on alert about Eloin's safety when you were at the house?
Guess
Absolutely,
so.
yes.
Did you do anything together with Caitlyn to help ensure that your family was safe?
So yes, I taught her to use the pistol that I had. She had already known a little bit, but we went out. I took her out to the range a few times. We fired it. I make sure that she knew how to use it as well.
You testified previously about being a combat marksman coach for the Marines. Is that how you taught Caitlyn how to use it?
Oh,
Yes, and
okay.
not
That
as
makes
an
sense
intense
now.
way, but yes.
And was it your understanding that Caitlyn was proficient with a pistol?
Yeah.
You said you taught her with your pistol. What pistol are you referring to?
Really, this was the only pistol I've ever owned, and it was gifted to me by my dad after I got out of the Marine Corps.
Was there anything about living in Vegas that caused safety concerns?
Objection. Relevance.
May we approach, Judge?
Sure.
Oh, I swear, this trial, I have never seen a trial with this many sidebars. It's like every thinking about it from a pack mentality, that does make sense. But we were thinking when the grass was high, something must have spooked him. Because he didn't want to go out into the high grass after a while. He would do it up by like next to the house. And Travis used to say, "Be careful where you step," because he went right up next to the house. So something spooked him in the high grass. Don't know what it was, but he got the new lawnmower and the lawn is mowed now. So he's still, whatever scared him, he's still afraid of. We don't have anything out here but squirrels and rabbits and possum, gopher turtles, armadillo,
Sustained as to the question, but withdrawn to rephrase.
snakes. Yeah, snake.
So I'm going to assume there were multiple incidents in Vegas that caused you safety concerns.
Yes.
Can you tell me about the last, maybe like the third one?
Okay, so it was at night. Caitlyn was working that night. And
Yard monsters. Yeah.
So and this was late at night, so probably like 10 p.m. maybe. But Ellen and I were on the couch just watching TV. I think Ellen was asleep at the time, but I heard
Yeah.
the doorknob sort of rattling, and and by the way, the living room was right next to the front door, and so I peeked back, and there's some blinds and a window behind me, so I peeked back and pull the blind back a little bit, and there's a person right there trying to get into the house. So I immediately grab Elwyn and I run upstairs and I set her down upstairs, and I tell her, "Do not move." And I end up grabbing my gun, going out to the door, and start yelling for the person to get out of here. And they really started banging on the door at that point, trying to get in. At one point, I did end up slightly cracking the door and showing, like flashing the pistol that I had and yelling at him, "Hey, you
Why
really
didn't you
need
call
to get out of here
911?
now." At that point, they tried to stick their foot in the door, like kick the door open. I was able to slam it shut on them, lock it again. At that point, that's when I ended up calling the police as I'm standing in front of the door. And within that conversation, they said that they're on their way. I do remember specifically they're asking about the gun because I told them that I had one out, and I specifically told them I'd put it away when they arrived. But it took them about 30 minutes to get there, and by that time this person had left, and so they did eventually show up. I walked outside with Elwyn and just sort of talked to him a bit. We tried to get some Ring doorbell camera footage, but we ended up not being able to see anything.
But the police didn't respond in time to address the threat or catch the person.
No.
At some point, did you and Caitlyn decide to leave Las Vegas?
So, yes. She didn't really like Nevada. I did, but I basically was saying, okay, if you don't want to live here, convince me where we should move. And over the course of probably about a year and a half, we went over just a bunch of different places to move to. But she had suggested early on about New Hampshire, specifically because her Aunt Brenda lived here, and she thought she could get work through her. And that was eventually what we decided on.
When were you planning to move to New Hampshire?
So this would have been at the time we were renting a house, and our lease was going to be up August 1st. So that was going to be the time.
August 1st of what year?
Oh, this would have been 2023.
What steps had you taken together to move to New Hampshire?
So we had been talking about it for a long time, but closer to it, I ended up ordering some pods, like U-Haul storage pods that they bring to the house, and then you pack them up and they ship them out. But I had ordered some pods, brought it to the house, or had it being brought to the house to pack up our stuff and eventually move there.
Did you think that you and Caitlyn had agreed on a plan to move to New Hampshire?
Yes,
And whose idea was it?
Caitlyn's.
Would you have been happy to stay in Nevada?
Yes.
How were you planning on getting to New Hampshire?
So the plan was for me to basically drive, and I had a very long road trip planned out. Actually, I had two planned out because I had a southern route and a northern route. But Elwin and I driving out, and then Caitlyn and Valen would then fly out.
Why were you going to drive with Elowen while Caitlyn flew with Valen?
I guess specifically, I didn't think Valen at that point, she would have been about 6 months old. I didn't think that she or really anyone would be able to handle a long road trip.
I think I skipped an important event in your life here. When was Valen born?
Oh, that was January 17th, 2023.
And Valen is your and Caitlyn's child?
Yes,
Was she born in Vegas?
yes,
And so your plan was for 6-month-old Valen to fly to New Hampshire with Caitlyn while you drove with Elowen?
yes.
Did the four of you move to New Hampshire in August 2023 as planned?
No.
What happened instead?
So before the pods I'd ordered have arrived, a different set of pods showed up, and I was upstairs at the time, and I heard a truck outside and was confused about what was going on. I didn't know if there was pods were there, if they were just coincidence that it was someone else's pods, or if ours had arrived early. But anyways, I go downstairs to go check on it, and Caitlyn is in the kitchen, and I tell her, hey, there's pods outside. I'm gonna go check out what they're about. And she says that they're hers. And this was really the first time I found out that no, she was not going to New Hampshire, that she was going back to Minnesota.
And had you been aware that Caitlyn was planning on going back to Minnesota?
No, that was the moment I found out.
What did you do when you found out that Caitlyn was going back to Minnesota?
I was pretty distraught. I didn't understand it. I was pretty upset just about how and why she was breaking up the family. I didn't understand it.
Did you and Caitlyn come up with a plan about what would happen with the kids when she went back to Minnesota?
No. So I was trying to talk to her about it, about what the plan was. And again, just being really distraught about just what was going on. Was she going to just go back by herself, and she was going to leave the kids with me, or is she trying to take both, or are we splitting the kids? And any one of those options I didn't really like, but she just wasn't responding. She just wouldn't have that conversation with me.
What happened when Caitlyn went back to Minnesota?
So she ended up just going outside with the stroller, like she was going to the park.
Who was in the stroller?
Valen. So Elowen was at daycare at this point. She was in like a preschool daycare kind of thing. And so she took Valen out into the stroller and just was kind of walking like going to the park. And which was normal. I mean, we went to the park all the time. So that seemed like a normal thing. She didn't take anything. She just left like she was going to the park. And a couple hours go by and she hadn't come back, or I didn't hear anything. So I ended up going to the park and no one was there. So I texted her, "Where is she?" And she responded that she was at the airport with Valen.
Had Caitlyn previously told you that she was taking Valen to the airport?
No.
And did Caitlyn tell you where her and Valen were going to go once they got to the airport?
Well, they were going to Minnesota.
Had Caitlyn told you she was taking Valen to Minnesota? Had you given permission for Caitlyn to take Valen to a different state?
No. No.
What did you do when Caitlyn traveled to a different state?
So to Elowen's daycare, because I wanted to see if she had grabbed Elowen too. And so I went there and no, she wasn't. Elowen was still at the daycare. So I picked her up and then sped to the airport. And as I was doing that, I was calling my parents. I called her dad, Rob, just trying to figure out what was going on. And it seemed like no one knew what was going on.
Did you talk to Caitlyn again that day?
So eventually I did get her on the phone, and this was while I was still driving, and she said she wasn't going to come back through security because, and I started telling her I at least want to say goodbye to Valen and for her to at least say goodbye to Elowen. But she just said she wasn't going to go back through security. And eventually, I guess I just gave up on it and turned around and headed back to the house.
When you headed back to the house, did you talk to anyone else? Or did you continue to talk to other people about what to do?
Well, yes. So I ended up trying to figure out just basically what to do, but I was talking to like my family and Caitlyn's family just about what was happening and what the plan should be. I figured, well, okay, if we're not going to New Hampshire, I'll just stay in Nevada because I just like Nevada. I like the desert. I like being there. So I figured I would just stay in Nevada. But they were all, both my family and her family, they're all trying to convince me, hey, come back to Minnesota. We'll all be together. We'll all try and figure this out together. And really, I didn't make up my mind until July 31st, really the day before I left. And because I had already had an apartment secured in Vegas, a new apartment. And, yeah, I eventually decided to go back to Minnesota, really on the point that I did not want Elowen and Valen to grow up separately. That really bothered me.
How did you get back to Minnesota from Vegas?
So Elowen and I, we made a nice road trip out of it. spent several days with a friend of mine in Utah and just doing this whole road trip. That was just another incredible bonding experience. Yeah.
Once you got back to Minnesota, where did you live?
So I ended up moving back in with my parents.
What about Caitlyn? Where did she live?
So she was living with a friend of hers.
How far apart was where you lived and where Caitlyn lived?
If I'm remembering right, it was about an hour and a half.
Where were the girls? Where were Ellen and Valen living? When you...
Custody to where there'd be times to where my parents.
Who were they with more?
I think the total number came out to be 98 days with me and my family, 48 days with her, and then a random like 15 days to where the kids were split for whatever reason.
When the kids were moving between the two households, how did they get from one place to another?
So I would normally drive which I was fine with doing, but I would just drive and drop them off, or drive down there and pick up the girls. But eventually we ended up figuring out a restaurant to kind of meet in the middle, and then that generally became our spot to exchange the girls.
Did you try to come up with a more permanent plan for where the four of you would live?
So yes, specifically in October, I had a meeting at the same restaurant that we would normally meet at with Rob, her dad, and we tried to plan out, or basically, okay, I asked her just point blank of, hey, can we just continue our trip to New Hampshire? And she immediately said yes, and which kind of surprised me because I thought I would have to try to convince her somehow, but she just immediately said yes, and from that point on, that's when we started planning to eventually move to continue the move that was planned to New Hampshire.
Just gonna ask a couple clarifying questions. You said this meeting was sometime around October. Was this October of 2023?
Yes.
And then you said, you asked if you could continue your trip. By that, did you mean your move to New Hampshire?
Yes.
Were the four of you going to live together in New Hampshire?
I would not have been opposed to it. I'm just someone who's really big on the nuclear family, and I feel like it's really, really important for children to grow up with both parents in the household together, everyone living together. And so I would not have been opposed to it, but at first the plan was that we would live separately.
And when did you decide to, or when did you plan to move to New Hampshire?
So this was October, so we were deciding that we would wait until after all the holidays, and so like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Alwyn's birthday on December 2nd, and then Christmas, New Year's, and then Valen's birthday on January 17th. So we'd wait for after all the holidays, spend the rest of the time with family, and then after Valen's birthday, then to start the move.
Was the plan for all four of you to start the move at the same time?
So no, I would go out there first with Elwyn, get the place secured and just kind of get set up. And then Caitlyn would then fly out with Valen, and we worked it out to where she would drop Valen off to me, and then she would go back to Minnesota just to kind of get money and just kind of work on what she needed to do, free of not having to worry about the girls. And then once she got some money secured, then moving a few months later, when her aunt Brenda would have seasonal work for her.
And why didn't you just take both Ellen and Valen with you initially?
Again, the road trip, I thought it would just be too much. But I did know previously, just because of Ellen and I's road trip from Nevada to Minnesota, which she did fantastic with, that I knew that she would have a really easy time, and we'd have just another great bonding experience kind of doing this road trip from Minnesota to New Hampshire.
And you said you thought it would be too much. Did you mean too
This
much
is
for Valen?
the lead in
Well,
to
yes,
the
but
murder.
probably me too, trying to do a road trip with two young girls, like a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time, yes.
And Valen was 1 at the time of this.
Yes, yes.
What did you do to get ready to move to New Hampshire?
So I had, again, ordered pods, just sort of packing up all the girls' stuff. As we were doing this, Caitlyn was bringing me some of the stuff, like Ellen and Valen's stuff that she had. Like during Valen's birthday, we went to the Mall of America. But anyways, when we met there, then Caitlyn brought kind of the remainder of Ellen's stuff that she had, and some of Valen's stuff, so that I could put it in the pods to be sent to New Hampshire. So she did that, and then two, I showed her the, because I had gotten the apartment by then, and so I was showing her pictures of the apartment and where we were staying, and that it was going to be the place in Berlin, the apartment in Berlin.
Did you give her the address?
Yes.
Come over here. Why are you back there? Come over here.
So you said you had decided to leave for New Hampshire after the holidays, the last of the holidays being Valen's birthday?
Yes.
And what day is Valen's birthday?
January 17th.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Certainly, certainly.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for ID as Defendant's E. What is that?
It's a January 2024 calendar.
Is there more than one page?
Yes. So it's also February and March 2024.
Can you please mark Valen's birthday, January 17th, on the calendar?
Yes.
Did Caitlyn book a flight to New Hampshire?
Yes. So this was before I left. She ordered a flight out to Boston. Yes.
And how did you know she had gotten a flight to Boston before you left?
Pretty sure she texted it to me. I'm pretty sure. Ellen and I.
What day did Caitlyn text you information about her flight?
I mean, I don't recall exactly, but I guess maybe the 19th, January 19th.
Would it refresh your recollection if I showed you copies of the text between you and Caitlyn?
Okay.
I mean, we know a little bit from her aunt.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked for ID as Defendant's Exhibit I.
But not enough.
What does that first message show?
It shows the,
Your Honor, that was supposed to refresh recollection.
Assistant,
When did Caitlyn text you her flight information?
that was January 19th.
And what did she text you specifically?
She texted me a screenshot of the flight info.
What dates are on the reservation?
The 27th, I believe it was February 27th.
Was there a return flight?
Yes,
What date was the return flight scheduled?
the 5th. Yeah, I think it was the 5th, March 5th.
And whose name is on the reservation?
Caitlyn's.
And again, she sent you that text on January 19th.
Yes.
Can you note on the calendar that I've provided when Caitlyn sent you her flight information?
Oh,
Okay.
you almost got here too late.
What day did you leave Minnesota?
So that was the next day, January 20th.
And you left with Elowen?
Yes.
Can you please mark on the calendar the day that you and Elowen left Minnesota?
Yes.
Spike.
Okay.
Okay, you two, the rest is mine.
Or, I'm sorry, had Elowen been with you the night before you left from Minnesota?
No. So I had to pick her up on the morning of the 20th.
Gosh.
Where did you pick her up from?
So this was this was at her friend's house. So I drove over in the morning, went to her friend's house. She was the one that opened the door. I guess I could say the name Sarah, but saw her, just said a brief greeting, just hey, and then she went upstairs, and I went inside, just met with Caitlyn for a little bit,
Parents.
and we all came out together to the car. I had it just packed with all sorts of stuff for the road trip. Like my mom made Elowen a picture book, but just road trip ready. And then basically I said goodbye to Valen, and Caitlyn said goodbye to Elowen, and we started our road trip.
Before you started, had you sent any messages to Caitlyn that day?
Before?
Before you left?
Yes.
And why did you message her?
It was just to figure out where I was picking up Elowen.
And did Caitlyn send you an address to pick Elowen up?
Yes.
Send that via text?
Yes.
Did you text her again to let her know when you got there?
Yes. To Sarah's house? Yes.
Were you and Caitlyn in touch while you and Elowen were on the road trip?
Yes, the whole time. Actually, immediately afterwards, it was about 10 minutes after I started the road trip, Elowen just started vomiting in the car. And anyway, so I immediately had to pull over and take care of her. And I texted Caitlyn about, hey, Ellen's throwing up in the car. What is going on? And she texted back just something about how, yeah, Ellen had been sick.
Sustained.
Were you and Caitlin in touch in other ways while you were on the trip?
Yes, so I had been calling and we were FaceTiming and just kind of showing our adventures throughout the road trip.
Were there any other subjects that you communicated about while you were on the road trip?
I think again she was asking for some more money. I had been just sort of regularly sending her money. It wasn't a ton, but it was just kind of what I could afford, like a few $100s every month, like maybe like $500 one month or $100 the next month. But yeah, I think she was asking just for some more money.
And how did you respond?
As to who responded? Has Caitlin respond?
How did Dustin respond to Caitlin?
Okay.
Dustin, may we approach?
Yep.
The prosecution objected to the texts. Marty, I live on 5 acres. They have free reign when they go outside.
Sustained.
They're eating doggy ice cream right now.
May we approach?
Well, they're 12 and 14, so if we haven't bonded yet, there's something wrong. I'm not eating his. This is human ice cream. They're eating doggy ice cream. Peanut butter flavor. I know you are. I walk them sometimes. Bye. Quit growling at her. Hey. She has her own. She's not going to eat yours. Spike Dwayne. They both picked up their ice cream cup in their mouths and went to opposite sides of the room. He gets territorial where food's involved, and he will attack. And he started growling. I used to walk Belle every day, but when my shoulders started to hurt because of the arthritis, I had to stop because she pulls so hard on the leash. Ooh, when I get my scooter, I wonder if I can. We live on a dirt road. I don't know if I can ride it on a dirt road. This is true. I should get a golf cart. We used to have one. What happened to that golf cart? Well, I didn't have one. My dad had one. My stupid stepmother probably sold it.
Justin, I'm going to approach with what's been marked for ID as Defendant's Exhibit F. What is that?
That's a picture of Elwin and I at Niagara Falls.
And was that picture taken while you were on your road trip?
Yes.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of what you and Ellen looked like and where you were on your road trip?
Yes.
Did you text that photograph to Caitlyn?
Yes.
And when did you text it to her?
I believe it was immediately after we got to the house.
So after you got to New Hampshire?
Yes.
And why did you text that photograph to her?
Objection.
Overruled.
Relevance.
Overruled.
Really, I just wanted to show what we were all doing. Obviously, I wanted to keep Caitlyn informed on just what was going on and what we're doing.
And was it just one of a series of photographs that you sent to Caitlyn from you and Elowin's road trip?
Yes.
Judge, I move to strike the idea that Defendant's Exhibit F be entered as a full exhibit.
Over the state's objection, the ID may be stricken and it shall be considered as a full exhibit.
Permission to publish to the jury.
Why take a 4-year-old to the Niagara Falls? They don't know what they're looking at. I went to Hoover Dam when I was 4. I had no idea what it was. Now I can say I've been to the Hoover Dam, but big deal. It's like people taking babies to Disney World. Why? If you want to go see it, go see it. But don't do it. Don't say you're doing it because you're taking your kid when they don't even know what it is. What are we doing right now? There was so much dead air in this trial.
Attorney Kittle's afternoon break. Okay, we'll stop here for our mid-afternoon break. Members of the jury will resume at 20 after. We'll resume at 2:20. Again, please do not discuss the case amongst yourselves, and if anyone does so, please inform the bailiff. Thank you. All rise.
Yep, dead air and a dead woman. I don't find his story truthful. Do you, Judy? What about you, Marty? As a woman, I don't know what a man's view would be on it, but as a woman, wait, you mean like, yes, Ken? I didn't even know you were in here. Yes, that is the defendant. Wait, Judy, you cried because, like, you wasted time? Like, you drove 8 hours for that and it wasn't a big deal? Or. Because, like, as a woman, he said that she didn't even say anything to him, that just Pod showed up at the house. And then she acted like she was going to the park, but she went to the airport. That doesn't make sense. Sneaking away to the airport, that would make sense if he was abusive. Like, she wanted to get away from him without him realizing she was running away. That would make sense if he was abusive to her. But having the pods delivered to the house, why would she have the pods delivered and then go to the airport and then not pack the pods? Because they've delivered them, but you got to pack them yourself. So then why would she be there? That doesn't make any sense. Unless that wasn't the same day. But it sounded in his story like it was the same day. And then, was the relationship fine? And then all of a sudden she's like, no, I'm leaving you, for no reason other than that she didn't want to move to New Hampshire? That it's just weird. Oh, so you didn't like Graceland either? I want to go see places, but Travis is obsessed with side-by-sides and off-road trails, and he has all these places he wants to go. Between that and remote control cars and RC racetracks, he wants, when he retires, I don't know that we're going to be able to afford to do this, he wants to get a side-by-side and a trailer and travel around. He just wants to road trip and go to different racetracks and different off-road places so we can ride side-by-sides down trails, and also he can play with his RC cars at different tracks around the country. And in doing that, I will get to visit places that I want to see. But we're never going to be able to afford that. That's his little pipe dream. Not going to be able to do that. Is it really? Oh my God, I thought it was a mansion. Wow. Oh, well, then I don't want to go. See, I'm not a huge Elvis fan, but I always wanted to go to Graceland anyway, just to see it, because I thought it was a big deal. But if it's just a regular house, then forget about it. We went, gosh, where did we go? When I was 4 years old, my mom had a family reunion in Oregon to go to. And it was like her cousins and stuff. It's people that I only ever saw once in my life, with a couple of exceptions. And so we went. A museum? We went like across the bottom of the United States and up. And I don't remember how we came back. So we went across the bottom. I don't know. We saw like the Painted Desert. I don't know where all we went. I was 4. And we went to LA to visit my aunt. And didn't get to do any of the touristy things because we were on a schedule. I got to see the Hollywood sign. Actually, I don't remember if I saw that with my own eyes or if I just saw a picture of it because I was 4. So I don't know what I actually saw and what I just know from like pictures and home videos. I'm still mad that we didn't go to Disneyland. I will forever be mad. That's on my bucket list. If I don't ever get to go to Disneyland, I'm going to forever be mad at my parents for not letting me go when we were that close. And then we went up the coast. So I've been to Pebble Beach. And my mom insisted that we stick our feet in. So I've been in both the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. So I've been to the other coast once in my life. And then we went, the family reunion was in Oregon, and then we went up to Washington to visit my brother. And I don't know how we came back, but I know we went by the Hoover Dam. We went by the Grand Canyon too, but Daddy said we were all asleep and he didn't want to wake us up, so he kept going. It's just a big hole in the ground, he said. So we didn't see the Grand Canyon. I have no idea where all we went. It was just a big road trip, and I was 4 years old. The most I remember of it is fighting with my brother. And I was so little I'd be in the back, and my grandma went with us. So it was me and my brother and my grandma in the back seat. And every time my brother started picking on me, I was so teeny tiny. And you didn't have to put your kid in a car seat back then, in the back seat. Or seatbelts. There were no seatbelt laws back then either. So I would crawl between, I say crawl, but sideways. I just go in between the door and the seat. When my brother started messing with me, and I would get up there and sit in my mom's lap. I went, Mommy, Randy's messing with me again. Well, get up here. And I go between the seat and the door, and I would get in her lap. And she would hold me. Can't do that nowadays. So I've been all over the place. I just don't remember it because I was 4. In fact, there was one place I went, I think it was in Oregon, because I'm pretty sure it was in Oregon because my cousins were with me, because we visited my cousins when we were in Oregon. My mom's sister, we visited her too. And it was this little thing out in the woods. It was a little trail where it had like storybook characters and little cottages. So like you would walk through this little trail in the wood, and it had like a little cottage with like Little Red Riding Hood and one with the 3 little bears. I had like all these little fairy tale scenes through this wood, and it was really, really cute. And yeah, she was my aunt. That's what I said, my aunt first, and then I said my mom's sister. So for years, because I don't know why we didn't take any pictures of it, but I know I remember this. It's in my memory, not a picture. And so for a while, I thought that I imagined it because we didn't have any pictures of it. And I said, maybe I dreamed that or something. And then I was just watching, I guess I must have just been watching YouTube one day. And I guess I had it on autoplay. I don't know what I was watching, but something came on and it was like a documentary about that place. I still don't remember the name of it. I should have written it down. But it was just like the next thing on autoplay came up and it was a documentary about that place. And I was like, oh my God, it is real. It wasn't a dream. We just didn't take pictures of that part, I guess. And dang, I should have wrote it down because I don't remember. But it's in Oregon. In one of the redwood forest attractions that they have there, because there's all kinds of stuff out in the redwood forest. Because like you can't do anything to the trees because they're protected, but people put stuff in the forests for you to go through and look at all the time. There's one, I guess they did that back before they declared them protected or whatever. Because there's one tree that there's a cutout in the tree where you can drive your car through it. And you can buy petrified wood in the gift shop. But Mom, you're not allowed to take anything out because it's protected. But Mom found a teeny tiny piece that she picked up and she kept. And she was so afraid that, like, you have to go through a checkpoint when you leave. And she was so afraid they were going to arrest her for picking up that little piece of wood. My mom wasn't right, y'all. I wonder, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't one. I thought it was, because I thought I was with my cousins. Maybe I was with I may have been with my brother and sister-in-law and her little brother, because she had a little brother my age. Like I said, I just barely remember it. That might be it. That might be it. I might be wrong about Oregon. This might be it, Marty. Cool. There's videos of people walking through Tacoma's abandoned Never Never Land. I'm going to have to watch those videos. That might be it. Yeah, we did all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I was 4. I thought I was 3 for the longest time, and I kept saying that one day when I was telling somebody, and you were 4. Like every time I'd say 3, he'd say you were 4. I'm like, okay, I was 4. I still don't remember very much. So like I always said, because of that, I said if I ever have kids and I take them places, I will wait till they're at least 6 or 7. It says Never Never Land though. I looked up Neverland. It says Neverland. Wrong mouse. I put in Neverland Point Defiance, and it says TacomaTales.org, remembering Never Neverland. Never Neverland Tacoma. Abandoned Never Neverland at Point Defiance Park. Never Never Ever Again. A&E. Privately owned Never Never Land Trail and Playground located at Point Defiance. Not enough pictures. Yeah, I remember that is one of the few things that we did that I remember, like from my own memory, because there's no pictures. We have no pictures of it at all. Yeah, it was like all nursery rhymes. And I remember having other kids with me. I thought it may, my cousins, we might have, they might have gone to Washington with us to visit my brother. Or it might have been, is that what part of Washington? Is it close to Oregon? Or it could be my sister-in-law's little brother was my age. So he could have gone with us. I don't know. I just remember other kids being with me. Like I said, that's, 52 years ago. It's very vague in my memory, but it's there.
Okay, thank you. Please be seated.
I loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. But like I said, I was 4 years old. Everything is cool to a 4-year-old.
This photo of you and Elwin, defendants F, you said that you sent it to Caitlyn?
Yes.
Did you send it to anyone else?
Yes. I'm trying to remember exactly who. I think my parents, I think, and I think both of Caitlyn's parents as well.
Both Lori and Rob?
I think so, yes.
Do you still have that calendar up there?
Yes.
What date did you arrive in New Hampshire?
If I'm remembering right, I actually think it was the 25th, January 25th.
So that's different than the date that you guessed when you were, or mentioned when you were talking to the police?
So yes, the more I thought about it, the more I'm pretty sure it was the 25th, not the 23rd.
Can you write the date you arrived in New Hampshire on the calendar?
Yes. Okay.
Where was your apartment?
So I was in Berlin.
Was it on 1063 Main Street?
Yes.
How was the apartment when you arrived?
So we arrived a little early, so it needed some cleaning. But anyways, we did some deep cleaning and then got kind of what we had taken in the car set up and ready for the pods to arrive to really get settled in.
Did you set up your bedroom?
With what we had, yes.
And did you set up the girls' bedroom?
Yes.
Did you do anything else to get settled in?
Quite a bit, just to get settled in New Hampshire. I had to get new driver's license, new registration on the vehicle, new license plate. I got Elwyn enrolled in the Berlin Head Start, the preschool that's right there. And we were regularly going to like the Berlin library. But yeah, just kind of getting all that taken care of.
Did you send anyone your address?
Yes. Yes.
I was
Rob,
thinking he was kind of more
was
soft
asking
fit
to
like.
send Valentine's Day cards.
Did you ask Caitlyn before sharing the address with Rob?
I did. Actually, I take it back. It was actually right afterwards. But I did ask Caitlyn if I could share or if she had an issue with me sharing the address to anyone.
Did she?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance and hearsay.
No, it's not. It's yes or no. A yes or no is not hearsay.
But you testified earlier that you had, Rob, Caitlyn's dad, had wanted to send some Valentine's Day cards.
Yes.
Dustin, where in the house do you keep the Valentine's cards?
I set them in the living room, and it was on a little, like a black drawer. I set them on top of it.
Were they in one of the photographs the state introduced?
I believe so, yes.
Was it maybe visible in a video that was played?
Maybe.
Okay.
That might have been it.
For everyone's sake, I'll stop trying to find it. How were things with Caitlyn once you got to New Hampshire?
So they were all right at first, but she was really having money issues, and so she was continually asking for more and more money.
I think this is still this defense.
Did you have an argument about money?
Yes, February 14th. She really what a lot of it was about money, but it also included how she wanted to put Ellen and Valen on her taxes. And I didn't even say no, but she just didn't even like that response. So she started making a lot of threats about how
What
she was going
response?
to say that I kidnapped Elowen and took her to New Hampshire without her permission.
Let me ask you, had you done that?
No.
And your understanding was that Caitlyn had given you permission to,
Yes.
and you had been staying in touch with Caitlyn along your journey
Yes.
and sending her parents your address?
Yes.
Who did she say she threatened she was going to call and falsely make these claims to?
To the police.
What else? Anything else happened during that argument?
Well, along with that, just threatening that she would take the girls away from me and I'd never see them again.
And how did that argument impact your plan, the plan that you and Caitlyn had for Caitlyn to bring Valen to New Hampshire?
So at that point, I wasn't sure what was happening. Now it sounded like she was not going to bring Valen to New Hampshire. So I start making a bunch of calls immediately. So
Let me back you up there for a second, okay?
yes,
You said that argument was on February 14th,
yes,
and is Caitlyn's phone number 612-900-4997?
yes.
Let's take a look at the cell phone records the state introduced into evidence earlier.
He said, I didn't even say no. She didn't like that response. What response? He didn't tell us what his response was. He just said, I didn't even say no.
States 13.
I hope they ask him on cross what his actual response was. If he didn't even say no, what was his actual response? deflective answer.
Mr. Duren, can you see that?
I
on your screen?
cannot, no.
Judge, I might suggest a brief recess for some tech finagling. I apologize.
Okay, all right, members of the jury, under the circumstances, we'll take a quick break. It shouldn't be more than 5 or 10 minutes. We'll resume when we've restored capabilities. Please do not discuss the case amongst yourselves. Thank you.
Are they going to show the text? Is that what they're trying to do? I hope so. I want to see them. I want to see a little bit of her side of the story if we can. But of course, this is still the defense, so they're going to edit them however they want it to be seen. Which one is his dad, Judy? You said his dad paced? Why hasn't the state put up more people that knew what was going on to tell her side? Because the defense and the state objected to her even being called. Because we don't know, like I said, the thing about her ordering pods and then showing them out of the them showing up out of the blue. That's weird. And if the way he says it, it sounds like that happened the same day that she pretended to go to the park but ended up at the airport, which that doesn't make sense. Because why did she order the pods and not pack them and then go to the airport? And if you're in a relationship with someone and they want to move somewhere you don't want to move, you don't just up and leave them. You sit down and you talk about it. Look, I love you, but I don't want to live there. Let's pick a place we both want to live. Which he said that's what they did. And then she lied to him and was going to take just Valen with her to Minnesota and leave Elowen with him. None of this sounds like it's real. I'm starting to think that he did take her without permission. And maybe that's why when she finally got there and got a hold of Elowen, she wouldn't let her go. This whole thing sounds hinky. Are we caught up with the live? Yep. Rebuttal case. But and one thing that I don't like about his story is he had a good job with the post office. And he quit because he was depressed. I have clinical depression, y'all. I have been where I couldn't function, but I did not quit working. I still worked. If you need to support yourself, you work. If you have a family to support, you work. You still work. Sometimes when you're depressed, that's the only thing that keeps you going is your work. I think he's using that as an excuse. I'm sorry. I wonder if there was a motion in limine about the. No, because they mentioned it. Didn't they mention it? The Free State Movement thing or whatever it's called. Did they mention that in opening? The motive is that she was going to kidnap the kids and he was never going to see them again. Yeah, me too, Marty. I get depressed when we finish a trial and there's not a new trial to go right into. I get depressed. I'm like, I need another trial to do. I'm having post-trial depression.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Oh, okay, so they didn't. All right. I wonder if there's a motion in limine not to talk about it. I wonder if that has something to do with any of this. He's also claiming PTSD,
Yes.
Ken,
And now we're taking a look at the cell phone records.
that his training took over. He just snapped and his training took over and he grabbed the gun.
Yes.
Does that show that you called Caitlyn on February 14th?
Yes.
What time does it say you called her?
15:33.
Is that
3:33. 3:33 p.m. Yes.
And after you said you had called multiple people after this argument. Is that call the one you're referencing with the argument?
Yes. Yes.
Who did you contact after the argument?
I believe I called several different people, but I called my Minnesota attorney several times. I think I called my parents. I may have called Rob and Lori. I guess I don't remember specifically that day.
Okay. And going through these cell phone records would help you remember, I assume?
If I knew the phone numbers. I don't know, I don't remember the exact phone numbers.
The next two calls you made are to 952, 955-8008. Does that sound like your Minnesota attorney's phone number?
Yes, actually, yes.
And is that an attorney that you were talking to around child custody?
Yes.
And so do lines 36 and 37 show that you called your Minnesota attorney twice?
Yes.
At what times?
That was 15:55 and 15:56, 3:55 and 3:56.
And we heard testimony earlier about what your mom's phone number is. That next line, line 38, is that your
Yep.
mom's phone number?
Yes, it is.
So did you call your mom? Is that right?
Yes.
You called your mom?
So yes, I did call my mom, yes.
And what time did you call your mom?
That was 4:09
I think he was trying to get custody of the kids.
PM.
4:09 p.m. And then that next line, what does that show? So we've got who the call was made to, and then who the call was made from afterwards.
So that's my mom calling me back.
And then lines 40 and 41, who's calling you back there?
That's the Minnesota attorney.
What time did the Minnesota attorney call you back?
It's 4:18 PM.
Line 42, who do you call?
That again, that's the attorney.
Is Lori Smith's phone number 763-381?
Sustain.
May we approach?
Sure.
Jeez. So,
You testified earlier about having some trouble remembering Lori and Rob's numbers. Would it refresh your recollection if I showed you their phone numbers?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor.
As to-
Format. May I see what's being shown to this witness? May we approach?
Yes.
so when they moved back to Minnesota, I think she wanted to stay there. And then he talked her into or he thought he talked her into moving to New Hampshire, but she was lying to him. Anyway, that's the way he's telling it. And then she went to New Hampshire, he says, to kidnap the kids and take them back to Minnesota. And that is why he shot her, in defense of the kids. That he had Elowen, or she had Elowen on her lap and was holding her and would not let go. Delayed by 1 week. 1 week from the original date, or one more week from now? I forgot the original date already because I erased it off my whiteboard. The thing is we just don't know. There have been no other, like, family members of hers, her parents, nobody, except for her aunt, who was called by the
So you don't
defense.
remember Lori's number?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you remember the area code or anything like that?
Why do we need to know
Not
the
off the top
numbers?
of my head,
Just
no.
ask.
And you don't remember Rob's either?
No.
But you think that you called Lori and Rob?
Yes.
We heard testimony earlier that the Berlin Police Department phone number is 603-752-3131. And we also saw from an earlier witness that you called 603-752-3131 on February 14th. I'm going to draw your attention to line 46. Does that show that you called the Berlin Police Department on February 14th?
Yes.
And what time?
5:20 p.m.
Did you call the Berlin Police Department before or after your argument with Caitlyn?
Afterwards.
Why did you call the Berlin Police Department?
I was worried that she was going to call them and try to have me arrested. Like claim that I kidnapped Elowen and brought her to New Hampshire.
And again, that claim was false.
Yes.
What did the Berlin Police Department tell you about whether or not they would get involved?
They said they would not get involved.
Let's look at the next record, line 47. Does that show that you called your mom again?
Yes.
And what time did you call your mom?
5:32 p.m.
What's the phone number you called on line 48?
It is 612-221-2078.
And so that's the same area code as Caitlyn's phone number?
Yes.
Do you remember whose phone number that is?
And that is potentially Lori's.
Or you're not sure?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's okay. Does it show what time you called someone with the same area code as Caitlyn's phone number?
6:45 p.m.
And is that the last call you made that night?
Yes, it is.
After that argument, when's the next time that you and Caitlyn communicated?
So it was almost a week later to where Elowen, it was the first time that Elowen went to the Berlin Head Start, the preschool. And so she was pretty excited about it and wanted to talk to her mom, talk to Caitlyn and tell her about it.
And how did you communicate that to Caitlyn?
So I texted her about how Elowen wanted to.
John, I apologize.
No ruling.
Sorry, can you say it
I
again?
can try to ask the same question again. How did you communicate to Caitlyn that Ellen wanted to talk to her?
So I texted her that Elowen just had her first day at the preschool and that she wanted to talk to her.
Did Ellen and Caitlyn talk that day?
I don't think so, no.
What, if anything, did you offer to do for Caitlyn after the argument?
So eventually, just because
yeah,
I was
they
worried about
called.
this, well,
The defense's first witness was no, that was her aunt, Judy. That was the lady Brenda. That was her aunt by marriage. So she's married to her uncle, I guess. She's the one that drove her to the restaurant to meet Dustin in New Hampshire. So she knew the plan was to take the kids back to Minnesota. And then now him. That's the only defense witnesses so far.
actually, I'll back up a minute. I hadn't seen Valen, and so I want to see if she was okay.
Non-responsive.
Overruled.
I was checking on Valen, wanted to see if she was okay, so I texted Rob, her dad, and just to see if he could go over and check on Valen and just see how she was, which he did, but he said that he didn't actually see her, that Valen was sleeping, and that he just didn't want to push the subject, so he just kind of left it alone.
And how did that make you feel?
So obviously a little disappointed, but yeah.
And did you offer to do anything for Caitlyn at that point?
So at that point, I was just thinking, okay, if I can just text her and say, okay, you can claim Ellen and Valen on your taxes, and if I just say that that's okay, will you still bring Valen to New Hampshire?
And what response did you get?
And she said yes.
Did you do anything else to make sure that Caitlyn would bring Valen?
So I did, I think I had already done this actually, but I did reimburse her for the plane ticket. And I was still sending her what I could, money-wise.
What else did you do after the argument?
I guess I can't think of anything specific afterwards.
You testified earlier you had talked to your family court or your child custody.
Oh,
court
yes,
in New
yes.
Hampshire. Can you tell us about what you did in relation to the
Okay, well,
family lawyer? Or, I'm sorry, in Minnesota.
yes,
Spoken to
the
the
Minnesota
family lawyer in
attorney, yes.
Minnesota.
So I was trying to retain her, so I was paying her hourly, but I want to retain her just because, again, I was worried that something was going to happen. So I was trying to get a retainer. She was needing $4,000, and I was tight on money, especially with the move. So I was trying to figure out what to do. I was thinking about selling my car, but didn't actually do it. And then was trying a credit union, and my credit wasn't that great at the time, so got denied for that. I was just trying to figure out ways to make it work.
Were you able to retain the lawyer?
No.
Did Caitlyn end up coming to New Hampshire?
She did, yes.
And did she bring Valen?
Yes.
As far as you know, where was she staying when she got here?
As far as I knew, with Brenda or one of her rental properties.
One of Brenda's rental properties?
Yes.
Had you offered to let Caitlyn stay with you?
I did. I texted her about how I kind of figured that she would.
May we approach?
Yes.
I think the jury's going to be out longer on this one because there's too many unanswered questions. Because we've not heard enough from her side. I'm not saying that they haven't proved their case, but I think there's just too many unanswered questions. They should have put up more people from her side that knew what was going on. Like family and friends and stuff. Because I guarantee if someone's having a problem with their significant other wanting the kids, wanting to move away with the kids, you're going to tell a close family member or a close girlfriend something. Like somebody in her life knew what this guy was doing to her. And you don't tell them you're taking the kid to the park and then go to the airport and leave your other kid with him. This isn't right. There's something else going on here. This is bizarre. Yeah, me too.
Sustained part subject to referee.
Had you offered to let Caitlyn stay with you?
Yes.
And did she take you up on that?
And she said no.
And without saying the content of the messages, how were you aware that she did not want to stay with you? Or that she had, why did you think she didn't want to stay with you?
Objection, Your Honor. I'm just, in terms of phrasing of the question, I'm not sure how we get to that without hearsay.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yep.
Why can't they put the text on the screen? They do in every other trial. No. Why would you let your estranged boyfriend take your 4-year-old on a road trip? Why? Why would you sneak off to the airport to leave him with only one of your children? That's the thing I can't get past. After you've had pods delivered to the house that you don't pack? His story makes no sense. And that part of the story was way before the party's on trial for. And that's a lie. It has to be.
That caused you to believe Caitlyn did not want to stay with you.
Yes.
Did you and Caitlyn plan to meet while she was in New Hampshire?
Yes.
Where did you plan to meet?
So we had figured out a restaurant halfway between Hampton and Berlin.
Do you remember what town the restaurant was in?
Ossipee,
What was it called?
Harley Jack's.
What did you think would happen when you went to Harley Jack's?
That we would all meet. So Caitlin, me, Ellen, Valen, and Brenda, and that we would all sit down, have dinner together, and then Caitlin and Brenda would then leave, leaving Valen and Ellen with me.
Did Caitlyn send you any messages the day that you were supposed to meet at Harley Jack's?
Yes.
What did she tell you?
Sure.
Yeah, me too. Jeez. What are you want? I don't have any food, Spike. I went over there to get gummy bears, but they're not there. We ate them. Well, you didn't because you can't eat gummy bears. I ate them all. I don't have anything. Why are you always hungry? You have food over there that you can eat anytime you want. You are making people think I starve you. And you're a little butterball. I'm going to have to buy you a new harness. You're growing out of that one. I love you. I love you. The name Harley Jax reminds me of Harley Quinn and the Joker. Why are there so many sidebars? Jeez. Learn to lawyer, people. Sometimes it's the prosecution, sometimes it's the defense, sometimes it's the judge. What? I hate it when I get these things and it says it's these news things. And it says it's my county and it's not. It's just Florida.
Before you met up at Harley Jack's, did you text Caitlyn to ask, is it just you and Brenda?
Yes.
And did she respond, she'll drop me and Balin?
Sustained.
May we approach?
Sure.
What? What, you little troublemaker? What? Come on. I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Come on.
So you testified that you had asked who was going to be at Harley Jack's.
Yes.
And based on the response you got, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that Brenda was just going to drop Caitlyn off.
And what did it mean to you that based on the text you got, you thought that Brenda was just going to drop Caitlyn off?
So I was immediately confused because that's a long drive. That's like an hour and a half, whatever it is, to meet us. And then how is she going to pick you back up? Like, is she just going to drive all the way up there and then leave and then come back and then pick her up? In which I think I texted her something along those lines afterwards.
And did you get a response to your inquiry?
I did not know.
Did you end up going to Harley Jack's?
I did.
What day?
That would have been February 28th.
Can you please write that date on the calendar?
Yes.
You can take that calendar back from me.
The whole time.
The ID may be stricken and it shall be considered as a full exhibit. Certainly.
He never got off the porch. What did I miss? I assume we're at another sidebar, or is this the same one? The Chihuahua that I had, he every day had to walk all around the yard. One full circuit around the yard every day. He had to. We called it canvassing the perimeter. Every day. He had to canvass the perimeter. And he would get mad too if you didn't let him finish. We should rename this the sidebar trial.
When you went to Harley Jack's on February 28th, did you take Elwyn with you?
Yes.
Did Caitlyn also go to Harley Jack's?
Yes,
Who got there first?
I did.
Where were you when Caitlyn got there?
I was inside the restaurant with Elwyn.
What happened when Caitlyn got there?
So she called me to say to come outside because she had a bag of Valen's things and to put it in the trunk. So that's what I did. Came out and grabbed it and put it in the trunk. And then the four of us, Caitlyn, myself, Elwyn, and Valen, went inside the restaurant.
Was Brenda there?
No.
What happened when the four of you went inside the restaurant?
So we sat down, had a meal. We didn't, Caitlyn and I specifically, we didn't talk really. We were really just interacting with the kids, Ellen and Valen.
And at some point, what did you decide to do when you were leaving Harley Jack's?
Well, I didn't get to make a decision. So Caitlyn started talking to Elwyn and asking her to see her new house, to see Elwyn's new house. So at that point, I was taking it like she wanted to come back to the house.
And what did you think when you were taking it like Caitlyn wanted to come back to the house?
So again, I'm really confused because she explicitly said she did not want to come back to the house. And so I didn't know what was going on. Like why was all of a sudden the plan changing? So I was hesitant, but I just agreed that, okay, fine, you can come back for the night, but it would just be for the night, just the one night.
And what happened after you left the restaurant?
So we got in my car and drove to the house in Berlin.
Who's we?
So myself, Caitlyn, Elwyn, and Valen.
And was this still February 28th of 2024?
Yes.
You need to look at the calendar, let me know, but what day of the week was February 28th, 2024?
Wednesday.
And what were the sleeping arrangements that night at your house?
So my bed was set up in just my bedroom, and then I had an air mattress that I got for Elwyn and I before our pods arrived just for something to sleep on. But then, so myself and Valen slept in my bed, and then Caitlyn and Elwyn slept on the air mattress.
What did you do the next morning, Thursday, the 29th?
So right away in the morning, I made breakfast and we went to the public library. It just happened to coincide with bi-monthly, they had a arts and craft, like kids arts and craft thing at the public library. So we went there just as a family and just went through the story time, and Elwyn made just the character from the story with like cotton balls and glitter and stuff like that.
I'm going to show you States Exhibit 8. Can you see that craft you described with pom-poms or cotton balls? And
Yes.
Where is it?
So it's right in front of the coffee maker on the far left of the picture.
I published to the jury.
Sure, Attorney Kettles, I think, which one of 8?
States 8,
Is there a specific letter on it?
maybe O? Yeah, 8O.
8O, okay. Thank you very much. Certainly.
Where did you go after children's story time and arts and crafts at the library?
I went back to the house.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Okay, certainly.
This is getting ridiculous.
We are going to conclude there for the day and for the week. So once again, just a series of instructions. You've been very attentive to my instructions, and I appreciate that. Because it is going to be over a weekend, we will start again 9 o'clock on Monday. Between now and then, please do not discuss the case with yourselves or with anybody else. And I realize that we're going to be it's going to be a 2-day break, but please discuss the case with nobody else. Please don't do any research about anything that you've heard about as part of this proceeding, including any online research, any visiting of any locations or anything like that. Take no action in that regard whatsoever. Again, there is a media presence here. Please do not research any aspect of this, and please go so far as to avoid any interaction with anybody relative to the content of the media coverage as well. Please try to avoid any inadvertent exposure. And with those as the instructions, and again, I appreciate your attentiveness to these instructions, we'll resume again 9 o'clock on Monday. And with that, I wish you a good weekend and take care. Mr. Duren, you can step down if you'd like. Because Monday may end up being accelerated relative to the number of things that have to be done over the course of the day, my intention is to get to you folks a draft of the second half of the jury instructions with the understanding that it is completely, and I emphasize this in the greatest possible terms, a rough draft, but I recognize everyone's ability to prepare zealously with respect to their specific positions. I want to get a rough draft to everybody when I can, with absolutely no indication one way or another of how I'm ultimately going to rule, but I want to make sure that I've got at least a structure out there and a format so that counsel can at least be prepared to make their arguments and see at least the general format of how I intend to instruct. Obviously, there's still testimony to be received. I have not made any decisions because the evidence has not closed, and I have not heard counsel's arguments with respect to everything, but I would rather start that process with the understanding that it is completely rough draft, subject to both legal argument and factual argument and the close of evidence not having been completed. Any objection to starting that process from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, any objection from defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, once again, I know folks will need to tailor we need to have a long charging conference and we'll need arguments with respect to the instructions, so I want to give you enough time to do that so everybody's doing their job, okay? Anything further before we break for the weekend?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Okay, guys. That is it for this week. I will see you guys Monday morning at 8 o'clock. Have a great weekend. And remember, be kind to people, love your family, and Jesus loves you, and so do I. Bye, guys. Hang on. Let me end the stream correctly.